Mare? The voice startled her. It didn't belong here. Hadn't in a while. In 2 weeks and 5 days, in fact. He left on a Tuesday, which she remembered because he didn't even take the bins to the curb one last time. As though, having made up his mind, he was excused and exempt from every responsibility of the life that once connected them. As she dragged the bins back of the driveway that evening, she'd imagined their marriage as a wicker basket, the strands now broken and sprung, the bottom about to give way. But unlike Jeff, she had expected to shatter. Wouldn't you? She'd thought despairingly, watching the quiet street through the bedroom window as her neighbors came home from their jobs, their errands, their exercise classes, and children's play dates. Wouldn't you have broken too? I just needed a few things from the garage, Jeff said sheepishly, looking not at Maris but at the newel post. She stood at the bottom of the stairs. He stood half in and half out of the front door, letting in the heat. She thought about the air conditioner. She must remember to turn it off when she left. What things? Just, my clubs, the barbecue tools. He scowled. I didn't know you were home. I already loaded up the car. A lie, and one into which he put very little effort. Her car was in the garage, too. He couldn't have missed it. Besides, where was she supposed to have gone? She had haunted this house like a wraith for a year now. It was careless of him to pretend otherwise. But that was as good a word as any for what Jeff had become. Careless. He didn't care. He couldn't care less. About her, about the life she thought they would cling to together, about— and surely it wasn't true, she couldn't even allow herself to think it— about Calla. I'm going to Ilana's, she said abruptly, too tired to correct him. You mean to stay? She shrugged. How to answer that? The future lay ahead of her, unknowable, unimaginable. If there was another option, like for instance just disappearing, winking into non-existence like a light turned off, she might very well take it. For now, anyway. Does that mean we can move ahead on the house? All traces of guilt were gone from his voice now. Anger surged inside Maris, cold, sharp, more real than anything she had felt in a long time. Her phone buzzed. She took it out of her pocket, barely glancing at the screen. I have to take this, she snapped. Jeff held up his hands, conciliatory, aware, maybe, that he'd pushed her too far. He backed out the door, mouthed, "See you later," and scuttled toward his car like a kid on his way to recess. Maris shoved the door unnecessarily hard and it slammed shut. It was a 925 number, not one she recognized. Ordinarily, she'd let it go to voicemail. The truth was, she let nearly all her calls go to voicemail, even Ilana's, but the afterburn of anger at Jeff propelled her to answer. Hello? Maris. A voice she never thought she would have to hear again. It's Ron. Ron Isherwood. You? Her voice came out like dried leaves, pain like she hadn't known since the early days, searing and slicing. How can you— what do you— I just want to say— There was a rushing sound, which Maris thought was her own mind ripping from its moorings, finally splintering apart. She was only surprised that it had taken so long. But she recognized a pattern to the sounds coming through the phone. The tap of a horn, the rush of passing cars. Ron Isherwood was calling her from the side of a road. But there was something more in the sound of tires on asphalt, a metallic whisper that didn't fit. I'm hanging up, she whispered. Through the glass side panels flanking the front door, she saw Jeff's car drive away, wavering like a mirage through the textured glass. No, wait. Ron Isherwood cleared his throat. This is the last thing I need to say. I wanted to tell you I'm sorry. How very sorry I am. This is for you.